Back home now, and a prominent Auckland GP is vowing to fight on after the High Court upheld a controversial tribunal decision sanctioning him for his treatment of eczema patients. Dr. Joe Williams says he treats thousands of desperate people who suffer from the skin condition and can't get any relief from specialists. But when some of those specialists made official complaints, an investigation led to fines and strict conditions on his medical practice. And as supporters of Dr. Williams prepare to take a signed petition to Parliament, he's still locked in a fight to clear his name. Alex Perrottet and camera operator Nick Monroe with this report.
It's a condition affecting almost 1 in 5 children in New Zealand and affects Māori and Pacific children more than others. In the worst cases of eczema, it leaves the skin red and weeping and even infected. It can leave scarring and causes significant impacts on quality of life, including psychological troubles.
Put your leg up. Beep, beep.
Tiko Rehua Panapa says his son Isaiah had extreme eczema as a baby. He couldn't sleep and was constantly scratching himself.
So he had a lot of rawness underneath all the creases of his body. For the first 3 months of his life, we spent a lot of time with specialists to try and find a cure for his skin. By the time he turned 6 months, it was severe. Very severe. He had a lot of redness, a lot of raw, itchiness. There was a lot of agony. He didn't sleep a lot because of the sore, and he was, 6 months, and he couldn't really get in there to scratch it. So he was just irritated, and he wasn't comfortable.
And after seeing 6 different doctors who couldn't give him anything to help, he couldn't believe the immediate relief his son had after 1 dose of a cream prescribed by Dr. Joe Williams.
So this is the cream that Dr. Joe prescribed us with to use on our son. We still have it, and so it's the magical potion. It's the potion that worked and helped our son, and I'm sure every other family out there that has a success story about it.
Dr. Joe Williams is a former Prime Minister of the Cook Islands and is known as a Pacific health pioneer. He's credited by the World Health Organization for his major role in eliminating the tropical disease known as elephantiasis. And while he isn't a dermatologist, he has researched and treated eczema for years and even wrote a book about it. He used to suffer from it himself and says that gives him a great empathy for his patients who prefer to come to him than see a skin specialist.
When they come in, some of them are so bad, and some of them have been treated by dermatologists, and it's still quite bad. And when they come to see us, their eczema clears after 14 days. They're so grateful for what we have done, not just me, but the clinic, the nurses and the staff here have done for them, because there are as much to take the credit for what's happening. It's not just me, it's the whole of the staff, the clinic.
Dr. Williams says he has a comprehensive treatment plan including a diet and a mix of different creams. He mixes a steroid with an antifungal cream and calls it Betaclom.
I have had no complaint about my treatment. All I've had was thank you for making us better.
Lolina Avia and her daughter Leila used to see Dr. Williams in Auckland before they moved to Christchurch. And as the summer approaches and Leila's eczema flares up, they aren't sure who to turn to.
You have one cream compared to all those bottles and tubes she has. Dr. Williams' cream's been so damn good.
Leila says on top of the itch and the discomfort, she's also bullied.
People like to make fun of my mouth and stuff and say, oh my God, it's the eczema girl.
Lolina says it's taking a toll on her daughter.
She does get embarrassed. She'll come home and then just pretty much, she'll be angry and in tears, upset that she's been picked on.
Lolina's niece, Arietta, also swears by Dr. Williams' treatment.
Dr. Williams has always been my GP. It was awesome. The cream was awesome. It went away straight away. I've tried Lorcoid. It hasn't really had much effect as Dr. Williams' cream did.
But it's that very successful treatment that has landed Dr. Williams in hot water. In 2011, dermatologists started raising questions about his Betaclom mixture. They were concerned it was too much steroid to put on a child's skin, and it could have damaging side effects such as skin thinning and damage to the adrenal glands. In 2014, one dermatologist's complaint to the Medical Council triggered strict sanctions on Dr. Williams and an independent investigation. The result of that investigation is this: a 2017 tribunal decision that found Dr. Williams guilty of professional misconduct. It ruled that his creams were dangerous, that he posed a risk of harm to his patients, and that he didn't keep very good medical records. Now, he appealed that decision, and a year later, in September 2018, the High Court here in Auckland upheld the decision. It ruled that Dr. Williams continued the treatment in a cavalier approach, ignoring professional guidelines and not listening to the advice of some of his medical peers. But Dr. Williams says those peers are merely a handful who don't agree with his approach, and many others do support him. He says the process was unfair, leaving him frustrated and angry.
2 colleagues were at the tribunal, and both of them had used the cream for many years there, and both of them said it didn't cause any harm. But very little reference was made to that in the report.
The tribunal's decision relied on the expert medical evidence of Dr. Marius Rademacher, based in Waikato, who argued that even though Dr. Williams diluted the steroid in his mix of creams, the steroid could have actually been more potent. The lawyer who represented the independent body investigating Dr. Williams, Anita Miller, told us via Skype that others at the tribunal hearing agreed.
There were others involved in providing evidence, the GP expert, a pharmacist expert, and their evidence was consistent that diluting a potent steroid does not reduce the potency, and indeed the dermatologist expert commented that Dr. Williams' prescribing, and it's his prescribing that's at issue here, Dr. Williams' prescribing of this potent steroid, a combination, was reminiscent of the uncontrolled prescribing of potent steroids from the 1960s and 1970s.
But doctors who disagree with the tribunal's expert are speaking up. Dr. Richard Aaron from South Africa has a long-standing interest in eczema and has seen positive results for decades. Also speaking via Skype, he told us he can't make head or tail of the logic.
Reasons for the sanction presented by said authorities make no sense to me. I can't understand that at all, because to suggest that if you put 300 grams of potent steroid on the skin, in effect you are creating the effect of 600 grams, which I think was the quoted figure. I can't see that.
And Dr. Williams' colleague, also a former Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, Dr. Robert Wunton, says he can't understand it either.
It's hard for me to believe that a 50-50 mix of 2 separate identical medicine will suddenly double the effect of one of those. It's hard to prove.
Dr. Aaron says his treatment approach differs from Dr. Williams, but he also uses a steroid. He says he understands why there was an investigation.
I can understand why the other, shall we call them, medical authorities became concerned about using potent steroids, in particular on the faces of infants, which I do not believe is the correct thing to do. That's probably what drew the attention of the dermatological authorities to sanction him.
That's the cream that we use mixed in a pot like this here.
But Dr. Williams insists that his treatment is safe as long as his instructions are strictly followed. Te Rau o Rehoa Panapa says those instructions are clear and it's just common sense.
Dr. Joe made it clear to us, if you overuse the cream, you know, certain things can happen. These are the effects to it. So one of them was it could thin the skin out. We followed it to the T. What he's prescribed us and how he used the cream, we followed it right through and we've never had a problem.
Dr. Richard Aaron says a lot of it comes down to medical opinion, and he has a hunch other motives are at play.
If what Joe Williams is doing and what I am doing is correct, successful treatment approaches, it puts in the shadows the conventional treatment that these practitioners are doing, because it actually diminishes what they're doing, because it's saying that what they are doing is not as effective as it might be. And basically, I think there comes an ego threat. I think most doctors, we all have a measure of egocentricity, and if someone else tells us that what we are doing is wrong, it's discomforting, to say the least.
Absolutely not. No, I'd completely reject that suggestion. The Tribunal noted that other dermatologists have in the past also used this combination of cream. The dermatologists who raise these concerns work in the public sector. This is not a case of professional competition, and certainly I don't think that there was any suggestion put to any of them on behalf of Dr. Williams that they were acting in a way out of professional jealousy.
Te Rau o Rehua Panapa says he has other suspicions.
I'm going to put it out there. It's, brother, you're just too brown to be outclassing us. You know, this is my own personal opinion, because there's nothing else. There's nothing makes sense into why he's been treated this way. It's racial profiling at its best, I think.
We did receive statements from the Dermatological Society of New Zealand as well as the Medical Council, but no one from those organisations was willing to talk. Dr. Williams says not only was there no harm, but some of the patients whose cases formed the basis of the doctor's complaints came back to see him for more cream.
And of the 12 people that have been cited by them as having caused harm by the cream, they came back to get some more cream and get some more treatment there.
The effectiveness of the treatment was not at issue before the Tribunal, and the evidence before the Tribunal did establish that this is effective, but the reason that it is effective is because it's a potent steroid. And the evidence of the GP expert in particular, and I won't have his words directly, but along the lines of, look, all of my colleagues would know that if you put a potent steroid on a skin condition, it will work. It's effective. The problem is the potential risk of harm, and in this case we're concerned with just these 12 patients who were prescribed a potent steroid when they were under the age limit set by the data sheet, information relating to this potent steroid, in the presence of acne, where there was excessive quantities prescribed when only limited use is recommended.
So a $10,000 fine plus tribunal costs of $145,000 and a heavy blow to his professional reputation. But that hasn't discouraged his biggest fans, who are still lining up in droves at his Mount Wellington practice. Te Rau o Rehua Panapa is so upset by what's happened, he started an online petition for people to show their support. He has almost 7,500 signatures and wants to take them to Parliament.
He's a hero to a lot of families. So for us to hear that he's been charged and been fined such a hefty fine, yeah, it's gut wrenching, and we're quite upset about it. So hence the reason why I'm so passionate about getting his name cleared.
In the meantime, Dr. Williams is mixing a less potent cream for his young patients, which he can dispense without fear of sanction. He says people with eczema have been neglected and misunderstood, and doctors worldwide need to do more to treat it. He says he's determined to see out his days helping those who most desperately need it.
Do you have any regrets?
No. No. I'd do it all over again. And I'll keep doing this with people there. My judge are the people that I treat.
And that is Dr. Joe Williams ending that report from Alex Perrottet.